I'm Alan Dutton. I want to call your attention to some facts that I've observed over my 30 years as chairman of a local bank and as the managing partner of the largest law firm in the region. In those capacities, I've observed the economic conditions and trends of the area. Historically, the area has been dependent on maritime trades and also agriculture, but those things have disappeared. There's a slight recovery now in the oyster business, but as of 2 or 3 years ago, the oyster business had declined to 1% of its former glory, and all the businesses associated with the oyster production, the various oyster houses that provided the major source of employment in this area, all closed, with the exception of 1 or 2 that imported oysters from elsewhere and sold them as wrapper hammocks. But nonetheless, the other industry that had been a support for this area was agriculture. And agriculture no longer is an economically viable business in this area. The farms are too small, and there are now only a handful of full-time employers, full-time farmers in Langston County. Now what has happened? Well, the bridge was built in 1957, and people began to come here with more regularity to enjoy the beauties of the natural environment. And during this time, I think they came in part because of tourism, but the most important element from our standpoint is that they became retirees. And then as retirees, they invigorated the environment here, the economic situation completely. Retirees not only generated commissions for salespeople, but they built homes. All sorts of building trades were advanced. Even trades such as investment houses, accountants, all sorts of businesses were generated by retirees that hadn't been here before. All types of shops, medical needs. And so, as you've heard from your other speakers today, many of the speakers who spoke to you came here as a visitor and stayed as a retiree. These are the people who are enriching our area. Now, what does all this have to do with the towers? As Mr. Carter indicated in his comments, Mr. Roy Carter, the first impression is extraordinarily important. And the first impression of coming into this area is obtained from the heights of the Norris Bridge. There you can look to the waters of the Chesapeake Bay and other direction to Urbana and the Fairtone River. And there's not a site of industrial activity anywhere. All of a sudden, though, we are faced with the prospect of huge industrial-sized towers and transmission lines and fenders, all of which will obscure or certainly diminish in a very significant way the first impressions of this region. A region which is totally dependent at this time on retirees moving here and supplying the impetus for our economy. The view from the bridge is one of the, I think, and not just me, the scenic highlights of all Virginia. This has been found as such by Scenic Virginia, an organization that determines what the great treasures of Virginia are. Preservation Virginia has noted it as one of the foremost natural resources that needs to be saved and that is endangered by this particular project. So it's not just a matter about local economy and local, it's a statewide treasure that needs to be preserved and that is threatened, and not only threatened, but threatened seriously by the development of the towers proposed by Dominion Power. Now, a word about costs, because I know the Commission has an obligation to be mindful of costs throughout the state. It was said that it would be $90 million to run the cables underground. I don't mean dropping them in the mud, that is of course cheap, but to make the drilling process using horizontal drilling techniques, which would be very safer, much safer. So I had a chance to speak to the person at Dominion Power who was in charge of the York River crossings, and he'd been designated to be in charge of this operation, at least of determining the estimated cost of an underwater solution. And so I asked him, how did he do that? And because it's the solution, the distance to be covered is very short. It's only 2 miles as opposed to 4 or so at the York. So he said that he proposed to have 3 different bores. This is a backup system anyway. It's not a normal supply system. And so one bore would be for the backup system, which is the one now on the bridge. Another bore would be for an alternate system in case of emergencies. And I said, what in the world is the third one for? And he said, well, that's for a communications line in case we can't slip the communications telephone line through the other board, one of the other boards. And I said, have you ever heard of cell phones? In any event, he said that he didn't want to be embarrassed by coming in too low, and if it was put in place. And so I'm concerned that that nothing has been done to develop a reasonable project underwater. I asked him, had they made any effort to develop cost? Had he put it out for bids? He said, no, we had not put it out for bids. So I submit to the Commission that you should require the Dominion Power to develop a reasonable specification for the project, and also require them to put it out in competitive bids. So that you can see, instead of what one man has assigned a $90 million cost, to see really what it costs. And I'm quite sure it will be much less than that. And indeed, it may be as the same price as the towers. And if so, wouldn't it be wonderful to be able to preserve this treasure that we have by avoiding the industrial impositions of those towers and all the transmission lines. And so I encourage the Commission to act in that way, and I thank you for your time and attention.
Thank you. You may be excused.